All right, let's move to the Pac-12 for our final two marquee games. We'll save the one with the most implications for next in Washington at Oregon State. But let's first head down to Tucson, where Arizona will host Utah. Arizona is, I think, still sitting around a 1-point favorite here, over under 45. Believe it, Arizona has a pretty simple path to the Pac-12 championship. I mean, it's not likely, but they need Oregon State to beat Oregon, and they just need to win out. And if that happens, they go to the Pac-12 championship. They play, obviously, Utah and then Arizona State next week. Utah is not mathematically eliminated. But they would need a 5-way tie for second place. And they would need USC to get in. Like, it's a mess. They're not going to go there. So the Pac-12 could get a little crazy, especially with Oregon State, who we'll talk about next. They control their own destiny as well. Obviously, I don't need to, this isn't breaking news. I'm on Arizona here. Utah, Arizona's been just a machine at home for what it's worth. And I think this is a really good matchup for Arizona. Number one, very balanced offense with a great line. And we talked about this similar price range against UCLA. What is the strength of UCLA's defense? It's that defensive line. All right, they got just studs across the defensive line. What can Arizona do? Pass protect. And that they can neutralize this Utah defensive line, short passing attack. Like, this game plays out to me very similar to that UCLA game, because then you look at the UCLA offense, can't really throw it, heavy rush. That's kind of Utah's offense. They don't really have great receivers on the outside. What's Arizona's strength on defense? It's defending the run. So I just don't think that Utah, especially with the injuries to tight end, they just can't take advantage like the middle of the field with short passes. And I think Arizona can. Their short passing attack, ground game. So I think this is a really good matchup for Arizona. Utah's second straight road game after that, max effort in Washington. They're basically pretty much eliminated from going back to the Pac-12 title again. I think this Arizona team will be hyped at home, where they've been great all year. And I think that Utah just, Kyle Whittingham is awesome. I do think that Utah is still a little overvalued in the market. I know they covered last week. They had no business covering. This podcast has been cursed by teams not being able to get through past the goal line. You get a goal line, a ball dropped at the 1, and then you get a field goal kicked into someone's ass at the end. But if you look back, Utah, they've had so many injuries. It was just a cursed season for them. They almost lost at Baylor, backup quarterback making his first start. They played, UCLA, freshman Dante Moore's first hostile environment start. Graham Mertz, his first start in a brand new scheme. Freshman Mendoza for Cal, making his first career start, and he left with an injury. Arizona State had to play their fourth-string quarterback, Jacob Conover, who is horrendous, with a decimated offensive line playing true freshman. Like, that's 5 of their data points, which I think have inflated some of their defensive numbers. So, yeah, I think and Barnes this year, 4 big-time throws, 9 turnover-worthy plays. I just don't think he has the chops to beat this Arizona secondary. And I think this very well-schemed Arizona offense, with Cowling healthy enough to come back. He left with an injury, but he's healthy and will play. And look, Sione Vaki was providing this Utah offense with this huge spark. He's not even getting any carries anymore, as you alluded to a couple weeks ago, which just came to fruition. And Arizona only allowed 3.2 yards per carry, 16th in the country. So bear down. Give me the Arizona team. Good matchup here. Good run D. Good offensive line to pass protect against that Utah front. You agree, or you want to go head-to-head again?
I haven't made a decision whether I'm going to play this game. I think it's a terrible spot for Utah, and the number of high-profile games they've played, and then escaping Washington with a cover. It was a joke last week. It soured me on them a little bit, but and then when I look at Arizona, you really have to. I watched that whole game on Pac-12 Network, which I can't wait to be buried, so I don't have to go through the hoops of watching that damn channel. And we talked about it, it was all punts, field position on punts. Average starting field position for Arizona was at the 20, Colorado was at the 36. They were granted a lot of advantages in that game. Arizona was still able to pull it out on the road. Good for them. But they dominated on the ground. They averaged nearly 8 yards a carry, and Jonah Coleman averaged 16 yards per carry on 11 attempts. He's amazing. Arizona does run an even split of outside and inside zone. Utah has been very good against outside zone, so I'd expect if Arizona is going to have some explosive plays on the ground, it's all going to come from inside zone with Jonah Coleman, which they're completely capable of doing. I think where I get tripped up and I want the under in this game is that there's just no pass explosives here whatsoever. Both these teams are bottom 15 in the country in pass explosives, and we know Noah Fafita has averaged up the targets, one of the lowest in the country.
But that's how you want to attack Utah.
Yeah, I know exactly. The short passing is where you want to get them, not downfield. But does that mean they're going to be able to create explosives and get chunk yards downfield? I think Arizona's going to be able to move the chains just fine. What are they going to do when they get down into the red zone, which Utah has fallen outside the top 50 in defensive finishing drives? So I definitely see the case for Arizona. I don't like the spot for Utah. I was really kind of more warm to the under, but we'll see what I play coming up.
For what it's worth, Arizona absurd at home against ranked opponents since 2005, 22-10 against the spread, 69%. Nice, covering by over a touchdown per game. Only Auburn has been more profitable in that role. That includes Arizona 19-6-1 against the spread as an underdog against ranked opponents, 76% against the spread with that Tucson Magic.